Welcome and good morning or good evening or good day, depending upon where you are in the globe today. But welcome to the Graphisoft Community Workflow webinar series, and this is episode 8. And I'm your host, Nathan Hildebrandt. Now, today we have Elizabeth Ellis, and she's the principal of Ellis Interior Design based in Idaho in the United States of America. Now, one of the greatest issues that I observe when I visit and consult with practices around Australia is their lack of implementation of technology and the use of modern features that are available within Archicad. Now, today, we're going to see several examples of what I determine and suggest a best practice use of Archicad and other associated technologies. And it's really great to see this in the interior design space, not just in architecture. So Elizabeth will share with us some of the technologies that she's adopted in her practice, together with processes that she has in place to essentially bring all this together and essentially deliver great outcomes for our practice and our clients alike. So throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And what I will do is I'll ask Elizabeth those questions at the end of her presentation. So now I hand you over to Elizabeth and her presentation today. Thanks a lot, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Nathan. As he said, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. We are going to start and give you a little bit of information about myself. I opened Ellis Interior Design in January of 2021, right during the middle of COVID. Before I opened the firm, I came to it with 19 years of interior design experience. And I was lucky enough to have that experience working with architectural firms, building designers, and interior designers. I've been working in London. I had some time in Australia and some time in New Zealand. About 10 years ago, we landed back here in Sun Valley, Idaho. My main focus of interior design currently is high-end residential. In starting my business, I have brought with me experience of Archicad. I started using Archicad in 2003 on version 8.1, and I was trained by Ellis. He is the person who we've used to implement our processes here and our templates, which is what we'll be talking about in more detail later on in this episode. During my entire career, because I've had that experience and the exposure to different elements of the design process, be it building design, architecture, and interior design, I've been able to determine best practices throughout the course of these different industries. I've taken those and I have developed processes for myself, essentially based off of necessity. Going out on my own, it was just myself working in this field. So I had to develop things that would enable me to eliminate errors in the field, stay efficient, and keep ahead of the game with technology. My personal design belief is that good design is curating my clients' wishes and needs, turning it into something beautiful for them and something that doesn't break the bank and is easy to build by our contractors. So a little bit about our team. We've grown since I opened. We now consider ourselves to be an international team. We're small in-house. We have 3 in our office. And we have our team in India that we use to help us develop our base models and get us going with our projects. What I love about our team is that we are 100% Archicad users in all aspects of our work. We have our right-hand man, Jasper, who's located in the Philippines. He helps me to do our 3D renderings, our visualizations. He helps with the annotations, and he is familiar enough with our template that he sets up all of our documentation for us. I do most of the design work and the modeling and get that going and hand it over to Jasper to complete and annotate. We even have our in-house junior designer who is fluent in Archicad, and she's producing plans and furniture and elevations and furniture plans for us as well. And what I'm also very proud about is that we have a purchasing manager. In the world of interior design, not only are we developing construction documentation, but we're also purchasing furniture and accessories for our clients. We use Archicad to place the exact objects to the dimensions, and my purchasing manager goes into Archicad and double checks our furniture dimensions to our POs before we even send them out. So we know that when the furniture is installed, there's no issues in the field and everything fits. Of course, I have to say that I'm very lucky to have Lincoln Ellis, who acts in the background as my IT manager, my red phone to anything technical that we need to cover, and my life partner. When we started, it was a no-brainer to bring Archicad into our work process. We knew, and my exposure to Link and all of his template work that he does through BIM6X was going to be definitely beneficial to the way our workflow would go in our firm. We know how to use the program in every way that we use the program, but I will say if there are any tech-heavy questions at the end of this, I will field them over to Link and he can answer them for us. So in the construction industry, we all know that there are stereotypes. And I'm going to go through some of those that we deal with every day. We are known for being the budget busters. We try to upsell our clients on design-related things that are going to break the bank, the contractor can't do, or we just push our agenda. The Decorina. I can't tell you how often we get confused with decorators. You know, they think that we can just pick the pretty things, put expensive furniture in, fluff the pillows, and that we're very fluent at just pointing our finger and telling people where to put things. The technophobe. As a whole in our industry, we're not known for embracing technology. What we are known for is being fabulous at providing detailed drawings on cocktail napkins, or just letting our red pen bleed to death on the architectural set when we're at the site meetings. At Ellis Interior Design, we strive to debunk these stereotypes on a daily basis. When we started the firm, we knew that we had to come up with an ecosystem that would work well for our processes and our construction documentation. And again, like I said, it was a no-brainer to use the Graphisoft platform. We have put everything on the BIMcloud SaaS. Every project that goes through our firm lives there, inclusive of our template. All of our construction documentation and modeling is done through Archicad. Every project is set up the same way. And one of the parts that we love the most is Graphisoft BIMx. We find that this is an incredible tool for our contractors, the trades, and even our clients. Every project gets published to BIMx regardless of the project type. We find that the contractors are really starting to love this, and my clients are getting really in depth with moving around and using BIMx, so it's a great tool for them in the comfort of their own home. As I mentioned, everything lives on the BIMcloud, inclusive of our template. It makes it really easy for us to start projects. We just duplicate it, rename it, assign team members to it, and start working. And what I love about the BIMcloud is the management that we can have with our team. The BIMcloud allows us flexibility to be working on our project wherever we are on Earth, which also enables us to have this amazing international team. Because of the international team that we carry and the BIMcloud, we're able to essentially work on our projects over a 24-hour period. That creates far more efficiency, and we're hitting our deadlines and our tasks faster than most other smaller firms. And this is why we really feel like we could punch above our weight and compete with those bigger firms that are producing output just as large. It also allows us to have a work-life balance. We can take our work with us and still, I mean, it's not terrible to work on a beach, and this gives us the opportunity to do that. Essentially, our business philosophy is it doesn't matter where you are when you're working as long as the work gets done. Because processes are really important to our firm and we stay very strict to those processes, we even have a process to set up a project. We have this documented. There are 33 steps, and yes, there is some time included in doing this. But what this does for us is it ensures that we have efficient, consistent projects throughout the rest of our workflow. Some of these steps are just as simple as how we import the Matterport point cloud, the information from the Matterport, and adding project information into the teamwork file. Now, I know we all have our own way of doing presentations. Archicad is ours. Long gone are the times that we spent making mood boards back in the day. Instead, we're using our template to also incorporate presentations into our project file. And this allows us to keep everything in one place. What we'll show you here is a little bit more about how we put our construction documentation set together and our presentations. So you can see we've taken a lighting presentation. Very simply, just drag and dropped the image into the layout and added the associated text. It's a quick and painless way of getting the information over to our clients so that they can have opportunity to look and make decisions. We do the same thing with furniture, sometimes incorporating finishes and fabrics, always incorporating pricing so there's never any questions for our clients. Even down to the equipment. If we need to specify specific commercial equipment, we're putting that in there for the contractor or the client so that they can see where we're going with budgeting on the pieces that are required for the space. What we're showing here is the beginning of our construction documentation set. Because we have such a great template, we know that every project that we put out has the same level of detail and the same outlook of graphical presentation. What you'll notice in our set is a little different. We've started to incorporate the red pens. This came out of necessity and life experience of being on job sites where the contractor gets things mixed up with line weights. So our idea was we're going to stay with the standard architectural pens and keep everything black, white, and gray, apart from the notations that need to be stood out, and the contractor needs to be informed of dimensions or anything that's not built as part of the building. And here you can see we use graphic overrides with our electrical plans. All of this is preset in our template. When it comes to our interiors page, we pride ourselves in providing as much accurate information as possible with our contractors. You can see that we have these red detailed markers, and we'll get more into that in a little bit down the road. We do like to produce 3D perspectives so that our contractors can see the concept as well as our clients. We find a lot of times that our clients are not great at visualizing, and so this helps them understand a 2D drawing. One of my favorite tools to use in our process for renovations is a Matterport camera. For those of you that don't know what a Matterport camera is, it's a camera that can take a 360-degree scan of your project. From that scan, we can generate a point cloud and drop that point cloud into Archicad. That's how we start our base model. Long gone are the days of taking a tape measure, a piece of paper, and a pencil and trying to create an as-built drawing in the space. This camera is accurate and efficient. It will save you time and money by taking this and scanning your space to develop your as-builts. The other part that's really great for us is that once we have that 3D scan done and we're implementing it into our base model, if there are any questions about the space itself when we get into the design, we can go back to the scan and in the comfort of our own office and look at the whole 3D picture and find the details that we may have missed or forgotten about in the space. We use this for every single renovation project. The scan also helps us in the interiors world when we're shopping for furniture. If we're doing, half of a renovation, but we're redoing furniture in all of the space, we can take that scan to our vendors and see the space in the shops and determine color tone, fabric choices, all of those things. And so on the furniture world for interiors, this is also an incredible tool. So we're going to get into what a point cloud looks like. Once we've done the scan, we drop the point cloud into our project. We set up our project and we're ready to go. Once this is done, we send our project over to our friends at BIMviz Studio in India. They're also a really big part of our team. They take this point cloud and they develop the base model. This is what that looks like. From the base model, we then start the design of the space. We have our doors, windows, walls, ceilings, roof, anything that we need, and now we're ready to go. This is where the fun part begins. Once we have our designs in place, I'm working with Jasper in the Philippines, the team in-house to pull specs and finishes, and then we end up with our overall design based off of the initial point cloud. So it's a great tool to help us get going efficiently. In our office, everything we do, regardless of project type, is modeled in Archicad. We strive to use as many Archicad native parts as possible, and we know that sometimes there are limitations there. So when that happens, we will use an RFA translator, and we also are subscribers to Matterport, which is a great option for finding additional parts and pieces that you would want to put in your model. Because our level that we take our visualizations to is higher, if we can't find the part in Matterport or the translator or Archicad, we have been known to model it ourselves. We're going to start talking a little bit about schedules. This is a really exciting process for us, and we're using it more now than just because of what we're finding the benefits of this to be. The covering schedule is fantastic for the interior design world because it helps us to identify the quantity of material that we need in the certain coverings that we're looking for. As an interior designer, when we're working in the world of finishes, there's 1,000 different finishes to choose, and you'll pick something that you love that's in budget, and then you find out that there's no stock available. What the covering schedule does to help us streamline that process is that it gives us the quantity that we're looking for, and we can ask those questions at the beginning of the project. I'm going to give you a little case study where this has just been kind of a phenomenal experience for us. We have a client who is visually impaired, which is a different level of thinking that we need to go through in our specification of products. We needed to find some slab stone for this project with very little veining so that it didn't make her dizzy when she was walking through her space. And there was questions on how much slab stone we needed to do. We were able to do a covering calculation on the slab stone and find that we needed 10 extra large slabs. That's a big ask in the stone world. But by having that, we were able to give that to our vendors, and we saved them time in sourcing the right amount of slab for us and found something within a week that worked. And it was great for our client as well. Another way that we work in Archicad is we decided to incorporate tear sheets. This was something that definitely came out of necessity when I was on my own. It was my own set of eyes, and I was so afraid that I was going to type up some information in a schedule and get the code wrong, and something would get ordered wrong. And so over the course of conversations, we decided, how do we get the information to the contractor and eliminate the text that goes in between that? So this is what I love about our process, and this to me is incredibly different to other interior designers. We include tear sheets in every single project for every single thing that we specify. And we'll show you how we incorporate those later in our template demo. So templates are really important to me. I could talk templates all day long. The efficiency of having a template saves you in overall time and money on the overall project. We have our views pre-linked, our cameras are pre-linked, everything is efficient on our end. We even have our interior elevation markers that are pre-linked. But my personal favorite that I just touched base on was the detail bubble. We have that pre-linked and able to embed into the project as well. So we're going to get into a little bit of our template demo. What you can see here is how we've set up our template. The viewpoints are made, all the views are made, and all the layouts are made. All of this is pre-linked together. And when we scroll out, you can see that we have all of our cameras lined out and ready to go that we incorporate into our BIMx. We also have our interior elevation markers ready to go. For the sake of time, we're going to drop in a module of a bathroom. And it's thinking. Because this view is pre-linked, we're going to show you where that falls on the layout. Notice how the enlarged floor plan instantly shows up. We're going to go back to the main floor where we just were. And now we're going to add one of our preset interior elevation markers. We'll place the marker in the space, and we're going to adjust it to fit the bathroom. Now we're going to go back to the sheet where the marker is linked to. And there are all of our interior elevations. While we're modeling, we're also populating our drawing set. The exciting part is that the interior elevations are also renamed based on the zone name that's associated with it. We still need to annotate and dimension and create a little bit more detail, but it's populating as we go. We're going to go back into an interior elevation. And now we're going to place a detail bubble. We have a specific worksheet allocated to all of our detail bubbles. We'll go into our detail marker. We're going to copy the marker. And then before we go any further, we're going to use the existing fill, and we're going to magic wand it into the associated cell next to it. This shows us that we have used this marker and it's already going to be placed in interior elevation. We're going to place the marker. Put it to where it's going and what it's associating itself to. B1.01, bath accessory. Now we're going to go into the detail marker. And you can see that we're using trace reference to help us place our tear sheets in the right spot. We're going to grab our tear sheet and we're going to place it. We drag and drop the tear sheet into place. And that's all we do. Now, because of this enables our tear sheets to be live linked to our BIMx. In addition to our tear sheets, we're going to go back to the main floor and we're going to show you our covering schedule. Let's select the slab floor and we're going to open the settings of the slab. Under classifications, all we have to do is say, will this be included in the schedule or no? The answer is yes. We know the cost of the material that's going to be allocated to the schedule per square foot. And due to our experience of using this material or other materials, we have an understanding of what amount of waste we need to add in to the schedule. 15% for tile that's a large scale seems reasonable. Then we know what the area of the box of tile is going to cover. So we're going to put that in because that's part of the specifications that we're aware of. Now that that's done, we're going to go to our schedule and it will populate for us the amount of tile that's required for this floor. We know we need 2 boxes. In personal experience of doing this, the accuracy is very close, and we're thrilled that we're not creating more budget constrictions with our clients by having to purchase and order too much of one material. Okay, now we're gonna go, next slide. So with our firm, we do a lot of different types of visualizations for our clients. And what we're showing here is all of the ways that we can get those visualizations done. Our favorite and most often used is Twinmotion and BIMx. But you can see that there are many other opportunities to get visualizations to our client. The more to the right you go, the more time it's going to take, the bigger the budget our client needs to get there. And we've experienced most of these for different projects and different visualizations. They're all solutions in the rendering world. Now we're going to show you a little bit about how we use BIMx. Hopefully everyone is using BIMx because it's an amazing tool. Little demo here. So starting off with our BIMx, we set our cameras up for gallery views. We then can do an automated slideshow of all the pre-linked cameras that are within the space. Once we start the slideshow, our clients and our contractors can walk through the space and see how everything's laid out. If the slideshow is too slow, you can take it at your own pace and move forward. You can fast forward it again to the next slide. You could pause it, and then you could take the joystick tool and you could walk around at your own pace and look at everything the way that you need to. The pinch pull, zoom in, zoom out is a great tool to get a higher level of detail in particular areas if needed. And you can walk around. Our clients love this because if they're curious about information of an object, they can click on the object and it brings them back to the tear sheet, showing them what that is going to be, which then relates back to the presentation. Our contractors love this because they can go in the 3D and open up the more detailed construction documentation set to see how the interior elevations are laid out and the equipment used there. Now, this is where we're showing you how our detail bubbles are now live linked in our BIMx. What we love about this process in our firm is that these detail bubbles essentially act as a home management or project management. Gone are the days where our clients need to keep file folders full of manuals to figure out what was that piece of equipment that we put in this space. All they have to do now is go back to their electronic BIMx file and it's there for them in its entirety. We also publish to PDF. We'd like to pride ourselves in our office as being entirely paperless. We publish PDF to the contractors that love the traditional paper sets on site. But realistically, we find that once you've printed a drawing set, it's already outdated. We've convinced a number of builders in the area to be completely digital, and they're starting to really love the process of having the BIMx with them on their smart devices on the project. Our trades love it too. They're able to see what they need to see in the space that they're in, rather than having to go back to the one job site set that's located in some shed somewhere. So we're saving them time and travel. Twinmotion is one of our favorite ways of putting together visualizations for our clients. The level of detail that we can achieve in Twinmotion is really outstanding. And you can see that you can get very close to the overall concept. It's easy to use and has a great output for our clients. Now, Archicad 27 has this amazing new feature of design options. And because it's pre-linked to Twinmotion, Twinmotion also gives us that opportunity to do design options. So here you can see we've used the design options in Twinmotion as well. Now we're going to switch to another project and another form of visualization, 3D Max and Corona Render. We also can export out to 3D Studio using Filmbox. What we're showing you here is a rendering we provided our client with prior to the construction of the project, and then the photograph of how it ended. It's pretty close. We're going to go through a couple of examples of renderings versus photographs. With the level of detail on these renders, we use this as a marketing tool to obtain other projects. And there have been times where we've had people come to us and say, which one's the real one? Which is exciting, and it makes us feel pretty awesome. Now, I'd be amiss if we didn't talk about AI, since that is such a huge part of our world right now. Of course, we use it. We have found that Krea AI is a great way to take our Twinmotion renderings and just elevate them a little bit more. I know that AI is going to be, influential in our industry later, down to spec writing, code compliance, but currently we're just working with the renderings and visualizations. Unreal Engine. Okay, so to be honest, learning how to use Unreal Engine is like learning how to fly a 747. So we're pretty thrilled that we have a 747 pilot on our team who is fantastic at Unreal Engine. We use this for really high-end renderings. The clients absolutely love the level of detail that we can take this to. And we're going to show you an example of our newest and latest animation. You'll notice that this animation is of some of the renderings that you saw earlier and the final photographs. It's incredible how accurate we can get, and it feels almost as if you're walking through the house, even though it's just our model. We're always so excited with the outcome of our rendering animations. And because of Archicad, we're able to get this level of detail. Now, who doesn't love a good party? At the end of our construction set, when everything is being issued and ready to go, we love to bring the entire team into our office and throw them into what we call a Vino in VR. It's a celebration of the release of our set. The great part is a lot of times our clients have A, either never built anything before, or B, can't visualize anyway. And to throw them into a set of VR goggles where they can walk around their space before a hole has been dug in the ground is an incredibly fun tool for them. In this particular instance, we were designing a barn, and we were there with the structural engineer and the owner. We had a barn roof and a dormer that were happening in the space. And with the way that the sections and the elevations were cut, it wasn't picked up that there was an issue with where the dormer hit the gable roof. We were able to find that in VR with the structural engineer here in this space and fix it before they even broke ground on the barn. We saved, I can't even imagine how much money in reframing costs because this tool found that issue before we even built. It's a great time for our office to celebrate the completion of our construction set. What we're showing here is just a couple of examples of the work that we've produced, all of which have been modeled and placed in Archicad. So if you like to collaborate with us, we are always open to working with like-minded people. We love team working. We would be very excited if you wanted to reach out and chat to us. Any questions?
So make sure that you capture the previous episodes of this webinar series on the Graphisoft YouTube channel, and hopefully within the next few days you'll also be able to rewatch this webinar also on the Graphisoft YouTube channel. Also encourage you to check out the Graphisoft Archicad Talk podcast series, which is also on the Graphisoft YouTube channel and on Spotify as well. So until next month, thank you very much for attending today, and I look forward to seeing you next month for our next webinar episode. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.